Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. Today we're wrapping up The Edge. We're back on the edge of the second half. Aren't getting soft, are you? The clan is on a collision course with the Steel Clan. It's no repeat of Awakening either. This is a new breed of opponent. Both protagonist and antagonist will learn something about themselves in this episode. Know thyself. If you missed the first half, go read it or watch it. Here's a red Steel Clan robot. Not what you want to see in your rearview mirror. Now, just a little aside here. It's not in the blog. When did Xanatos actually have the Steel Clan made? I know we see them in Awakening, but it's only been a few days since the Gargoyles were awake, so I'm assuming he actually had them made way back when he first saw Goliath as a stone statue, and then had right away got the R&D working on them. That way, if the Gargoyles woke up, great. You got some neat models that are quite functional. And if they didn't wake up, well, again, we've still got a really good-looking robot set. I still wonder, though, all that hassle to get this technology to run the robots, surely they had to, or that technology had to work for other things, because I don't know why he wants a robot army. He's not the crazy mad scientist type of antagonist who's going to try and take over the world with his robots. 2020 moment, even when we see that he has a robot that looks and sounds and acts almost exactly like him, he doesn't really use that in any other field. He doesn't make it to impersonate any of his friends or foes. So, the whole robot thing sort of dead-ended. Looks like the main thing he uses the robots for is to take on the Gargoyles. And if they were supposed to be their, quote, replacements and maybe possibly kill the Gargoyles, well, what's the point of that? So, I don't know. I'm just thinking that since he really didn't have the time or the R&D people didn't have time to whip up Gargoyle robots within 5 days of them awakening, or even less than 5 days, I guess, that they were made previously. As far as the exo armor, well, we'll talk about that later. Alright, Clash of the Clans. Goliath and company are gliding back home. Goliath refuses to discuss what Xanatos said. What if the trio wanted to try out Xanatos' offer? Remember, he was the only one who heard it. A laser blast knocks him out of the air before the discussion goes further. Whoa, wasn't expecting that. Behind the clan are the 3 Steel Clan robots that were running amok in the city. The red one we saw on the security footage, who stole the eye, is in the lead. Looking good. The new paint job is very Xanatosian. A storm of laser blasts ensued. I don't know where they're all going, where they all hit. There's got to be some collateral damage, right? An aerial battle begins. Despite being 3 against 4, the Steel Clan takes out the trio. That's new. Previously, the Gargs were able to handle 5. These robots have better AI, I guess. The clan shelters next to a brick chimney. It's no match for 2 giant robots blasting through. These suckers are tough. Excellent teamwork by the robots, not so much by the Gargoyles. The 3 robots roar in for the final attack, or so it seems. What's this? They pull up to stare at the clan, which is under a pile of rubble. Goliath knows what the holdup is. Xanatos doesn't want to destroy them, he wants to dominate them. No doubt he wants them to lead them back to their new home. Ominous watching the 3 of them hovering. 2020 moment. Silly Goliath. Xanatos hardly cares about that right now. I'm not sure when Xanatos learned the clan's location, but he was aware of it during Hunter's Moon. It shouldn't take much effort to find them. They'll be hanging out on a ledge all day. Odds are they're not moving around, so just break the city into a grid and check the roofs. Or have Elisa followed for a day. She'll lead you straight to him. Or watch her apartment. When a Garg shows up, track him. I'm sure Xanatos came up with even more interesting ideas. Below, the SWAT team and media are gathering. Elisa and Matt are in the audience, too. So much for the low profile. Time to go. Off they go to a more secluded area. The Statue of Liberty. Great idea, guys. Tear up a cultural icon. My tax dollars will have to clean that up. Goliath takes on the lead robot, the red one. He's in for a challenge, though. There they are, and it's quite the maneuverability that the red one has. It's 3-on-2 for the trio and the Steel Clan. Broadway makes short work of the gray robot with the old follow boom trick. That AI needs a bit of work. Now the tourists who wanted to visit in the morning are going to miss out because the authorities will lock down the statue. Great. Thanks. Lex and Brooklyn have more trouble. Lexington lands on the last gray gargoyle, but gets a zap from it. Again, despite not being grounded, this works. Broadway grabs the arm of the first robot he crashed. He throws it like a spear, impaling Lex's ride. Yeah, that's an arm he's got. It worked well, actually. Meanwhile, Big Red and Big Purple are doing aerial acrobatics in a wild dog fight that involves body checking, slashing, and lasers. The red bot is doing excellent against Goliath. It's not falling for any tricks, and it's maneuverable as heck. It isn't using its lasers as much as at first, though. Now the robot is seemingly dragging out the fight. Nothing like fighting your robotic double. Seriously, this episode is just awesome. I mean, look at that symmetry in the animation. Goliath takes the fight to the ground, or rather to Lady Liberty's hair. That's a slick-looking robot. It's also got a nice fighting stance I haven't seen in the gray bots. Steel Clan's performance so far has been limited to the sky. The red robot is as good on the turf as he is in the air. Goliath lands a few punches and rips the laser off, but the bot swings in for a Seonagi. That's a shoulder throw. It's sending Goliath all the way to China with that throw. Grab some egg rolls while you're there. It also scores a roundhouse kick to Goliath's face. Goliath succeeds in sweeping it with his tail, sending it rolling. It recovers easily and finds the trio. Goliath is surrounding it. Hey, no interfering in a duel. And it does something none of the other bots ever did. It looks at each destroyed clan member. Then, at the missing laser in its forearm. Calculating the odds is unfavorable. It launches into the night. Got two pictures from its view. Companion 1 is dead. It's got a destroyed robot there. And then Companion 2 is dead. Stupid minions. Second destroyed robot. And there he goes. Wings out. And Afterburner is on. Live to fight another day. 2020 moment. We'll see the choreography from this Xanatos versus Goliath duel again at the beginning of Vows, when Xanatos meets Goliath to ask him to be the best man at the wedding. We also, and this is just continuing, this is not in the blog, this is just me thinking, we also will rarely see Xanatos interact with the Gargoyles unless he's wearing that armor, which is pretty darn smart. I'm glad they brought the armor in early, because it doesn't make much sense for him to try and actively take on the Gargoyles, go head-to-head with them without some sort of superhuman abilities. Even Macbeth has a lot of high-tech guns and vehicles and such, and some halfway capable thugs to help him deal with them. I wonder when the R&D department started working on the armor. I'm assuming probably as soon as the Gargoyles defeated the Steel Clan, because Xanatos realized he would need something against Goliath. The Gargoyles can't hang out for long, though, as the police chopper is inbound. On board are Matt, Elisa, Travis Marshall, and Derek Maza. Always good to see recurring characters. Matt says Travis owes him for this. I'd love to see the story when he collects. Yeah, usually reporters are not on cop choppers. Back at the clock tower, Goliath is out of his funk. Hey, exercise does help with depression. I guess beating up a robot does too. He's feeling heartened and that they were able to beat the Steel Clan again. Yeah, only 2 of them, and you had a really hard time at it. Well, 3 of them. Sometimes you have to face the person who's getting to you. Other times you only have to face your feeling about them and move on. You give the power over you to them by obsessing on the hurt they caused. Elisa is glad he's feeling optimistic. Things are looking up, and we've got the sunrise over the clock tower. As far as the robots go, the cops reassured the public that the Gargoyles running around causing terror were actually robots. Who created them is still under investigation, quote unquote. Well then, only robots. Whew, I can sleep sound tonight knowing they were only robots. Because, robots are known for their crazy antics. Normal as apple pie. It's also totally reassuring that you don't know who invented them or why. I'm not at all concerned that this might happen again. I am Steel Clan. No Xanatos episode would be complete without a Xanatos tag in. How, look at that animation. That is gorgeous. Like you can see through the little jets of smoke that are coming out of his collar when he turns the dial. That's nice. The Red Steel Clan member is atop the castle's highest parapet, the one Goliath used. Throughout the series, where we see this robot, we've noticed that in addition to the coloring being red and black rather than silver and gray, it has pipes that run along either side of its neck. There's also a dial in the center of its chest. Now it reaches up, turns the dial, and releases jets of steam. This isn't the usual make. I'm beginning to suspect that, yes, indeed. The robot lifts its head. It's a helmet. Underneath is David Xanatos. We know he's skilled at martial arts and firearms already, but now this is a new level. Exo armor, capable of flight. That beats the Corvette to handling a midlife crisis any day. This whole scene, from the camera angles to Xanatos' body language, screams triumph. And that's one of my favorite pictures right there. He's holding the helmet, looking triumphantly at the sunrise. Xanatos had his armor in the works for a while. It's fair to assume he started as soon as this plan for Gargoyles and Awakening crumbled. After all, it's not like you can whip the suit up in a week. According to Greg, while Tony Stark and David Xanatos share similarities, Greg did not base David in any way on Tony. Greg does admit it might have been a bit of a subconscious nod as he watched Avengers as a kid, but it wasn't on purpose. Some people will say Xanatos is a ripoff of Stark, since both men are rich and charismatic and both have goatees and red battle armor. But if you have ever even a passing knowledge of the characters, you'll see the resemblance is only skin deep. I don't have to go into the differences, right? I don't have to know that Tony is a narcissistic playboy who lacks responsibility and shirks his duty as CEO. I don't have to point out that Xanatos is, well, an adult compared to Tony's immaturity. Xanatos always has a contingency plan. He doesn't lose his cool. He's a born leader. That said, Tony is my favorite Marvel character. I can watch the Iron Man movies thousands of times, and they're still fun. Stan Lee created him after someone challenged him to make a character who is insufferable and who you hate, but you also absolutely love. Well, done. Another interesting fact is that Xanatos, kept the Steel Clan design for his armor. The bots are copies of Goliath, whom Xanatos considers as one of the, quote, greatest warriors to ever live. According to Greg, Xanatos genuinely likes Goliath as a person. David enjoys facing off against the Gargoyles leader. Finally, David has someone on his level to play with. My words, not Greg's. There's another picture of him sitting there with Owen. I love how open Xanatos is with Owen. He didn't have to say or, let on anything about that he was worrying that he was going soft. Despite being seemingly defeated, he's in good mood. He explains to Owen his victories. He has the Eye of Odin back, he successfully tested the Battle Exo prototype, and best of all, he's proven himself. He was worrying that he might have gotten soft. I guess a few months in jail where all you can do is shadow box and use the gym will do that to you. He stood up to one of the greatest warriors to ever live, though, landed good blows, and would have done more had the rest of the clan not shown up. That's nothing to sniff at. Let's slow down here. Most people justify or rationalize their failures. There's always an excuse. Not Xanatos. He noticed that what could be a weakness, and instead of ignoring it, he addressed it. He went out of his way to test himself. He did all he could to give himself a new edge while sharpening his existing skills. Hey, look, it's my favorite screen cap of Xanatos. So you've got some lens flare there, looking great. Got the wind kind of tossing his hair a bit. Bland headcanon. Tony Stark tested the Iron Man suit himself. Xanatos had other people do it. Who? I don't know. And the follow-up to that is that David had to get used to using the armor. I imagine there's a learning curve. That had to be fun. And, he just got out, 8 days ago? Since that was the 4th. And this is the 13th, 14th area, I think. So that was not much time to practice with it. I almost wonder if he had another exosuit earlier on, just sort of a generic looking thing, and that he had practiced with it, because I don't know if you could really pull off all those moves that he did, especially the acrobatics in the air with that, if you only had about 7 days to do that. It wasn't like he spent the entire time doing that either. He had business stuff. 2020 moment, he saw Severius about Thalog in there. So I just think he had some previous experience or something. Alright, irony moment. He just got out of jail for accepting stolen property. As if to spit in the face of the law, he goes out, not 10 days later, and steals the Eye of Odin. I mean, technically, it is his, so there's not really a victim in this, per se. It's just not really honest, of course. He's back to framing people for stealing his stuff, while he's the one doing the burglary this time. Well, he wasn't going to trust any other idiot with it. Now he's added breaking and entering, and battery on a guard. Guess what? The law can't do a thing about it. Yeah, he's getting better at covering his tracks. I'm interested in seeing what the Eye of Odin brings. It's built up a lot of story gravity in this ep. It can't be a throwaway item. Owen is stoic through his boss's monologue, while Owen does point out that David failed to learn the whereabouts of the Gargoyles' new home. So maybe that was a objective of the plan, but I don't think it was a very important one. Like I said, there's a lot of other easier ways to do it. Of course, Xanatos doesn't really do easy, but whatever. Anyway, Owen doesn't have any other critiques. It has to be a relief that Xanatos is 100% back in the game. I wonder how much David and Owen discussed this plan in the exosuit. I'm sure Owen had some common sense reservations. 2020 moment. Puck must be ecstatic. His playmate has a new toy, and that's sure to bring lots of fun shenanigans. And how cool is it to work with the guy who has battle armor that can fly? Puck's probably thinking, that's my David. Never a dull moment. And they both are watching the sunrise. Another great picture. Very much triumphal. And it's triumph for antagonists and protagonists alike. Final thoughts. What an amazing episode. I did not see the reveal coming when I watched this as a kid. I thought the Red Steel Clan member was just a better robot. Also, remember when gathering, he had the black battle armor on. And also, for some reason, I didn't really remember a whole lot about the gathering when I restarted watching this show from the beginning. Other, of course, than the fact that, 2020 moment, spoiler, Owen is Puck, Puck is Owen. Yeah, somehow that stuck in my mind. Anyway, even if I thought the red one was piloted, I'd have guessed it was a remote control like Lex mentions. No way did I think it was actually Xanatos. The episode premise is excellent. Giving antagonists/villains doubts is rarely done, but it should be done more often. It makes them deeper characters. Xanatos' gambit felt believable yet cunning on a supervillain level. It's harder than it looks to come up with a good antagonist scheme, one that fits the character and isn't predictable. The ending makes me smile. Both the antagonist and the protagonist started out with self-doubt. Now they're both happy and confident. How often does that happen? They both think they've won, and they have. Xanatos comes out with more points, though. This is one of the first eps where we see how effective Xanatos' plans can be when he's fully in control and knows his opponents. No more taking him down with the law. That's something else that we see sets Gargoyles apart. The antagonists aren't constantly in and out of jail. This isn't Batman the Animated Series. Stonegate Pen and Arkham Asylum aren't solutions. Not that they were in Batman either. Yeah, and it's a change from the other episodes because, let's roll down and look here. Thrill of the Hunt, the pack went to jail in that one. Temptation, well, it's Demona, can't really do much with that. Deadly Force, Dracon went to jail. Enter Macbeth, well, it's Macbeth. He didn't go to jail, but he did get his house burned down. So there's that. So the Edge, well, nothing really happens to Xanatos, and that's going to be a theme. So that's quite a different take and different way of handling antagonists, and one that's realistic, and I really appreciate. So, what do y'all think about it? Comment here. You can comment on the blog. Remember to like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll